you look at a takeaway, this would probably not necessarily get you to understand what sort of an ego you have, because sometimes that ego, right, has come in over years.
Yeah.
Okay. And the birth of it could be in defense itself, not so much as saying that you really don't know where it's come. Like, okay, there is a very live instance that, now when you're telling me, when I think back and when I'm talking to you, right? Okay, there is somebody I know who took, I know it was a set of friends, a batchmate, the batches. So I didn't know till very later that this person took 10 years to complete his CA, whereas some of his batches 1-2 years. Okay. Now, the batchmates' journeys are different. They may not look similar. They may be at different positions today, whatever it is. Okay. But, I realized, a couple of years back that the pride that this person took that he was a chartered accountant, everything had to be numbers, meticulous. It is my way or highway. Like, it's like an auditor. And then and unfortunately, the way the person got influenced was very different. The projection was that he's a very fair person, very, very neutral, blah, blah, blah. But he was also craving for certain things because of certain situations, I'm guessing. Because a lot of times he took a very moral high ground. Okay. Now, he's like what now, 57.
Okay.
You can't expect him, because he believes that he's done the right things and he's reached where he's reached. Right?
Yeah, that is part of the problem.
That's the biggest problem. Okay. But the minute you do something not even wanting to, he's not the target, but you do the right things, and it rubs his ego the wrong way, then he comes back very, very different.
Yeah.
So I think, and then like it is very ironical that he actually, most recently when I had the last conversation, he's like, see how you feel, see how your body feels. Do you want to do this? Like, he's wanting me to say, he sort of, okay, earlier it could trigger me. He wanted me to say no because he didn't have a choice to say no. So he kept putting in all of these things, saying that, okay, who I was 3 years ago and who I am today, and the understanding that I have is very different. But since he has not understood that people can evolve, he assumes that every second, so it still happened. And then it didn't have a reaction like it did. Okay. So if I would have reacted 3 years ago in an X way, now it's X minus 70-80%. There's still a bit of residual stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not saying, but it's different. So I'm not saying that it is a huge part, but you never, this, when I was thinking of certain things, and today when I was speaking to you, and this is literally in the last, sorry. So in the last 2 weeks, okay. So it's just not, okay, it's if you have an ego, you understand what it is and you do it. You also have to understand that the person on the other side has not understood it.
Mhm. Yeah. Our behavior. Yeah, go on, go on.
So if my behavior changes to acknowledge all of this, great, it's good. But also what has come to me most importantly is to understand that the person on the other side may not have that understanding and may not have a change in behavior.
Yeah.
Okay. So in a professional world, right? If you follow all principles, not necessarily that you will have a success, because what you meet on the other side is very different.
Yeah.
And
So
you have people who can also take advantage of it. So you can't be so naive.
yeah, sure. So that is exactly what we discuss, Anjana, in compassionate leadership, that it is the closest and simplest way that I can describe compassionate leadership is tough love. Not letting people treat us like doormats. Be polite,
Yeah.
be understanding, and be firm at the same time. It sounds a bit paradoxical, but with practice, it happens.
It is required,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that's what I realized. Yeah, I mean, I do take a stand. I do make a point. Earlier, probably the way I made a point or the stand I took would probably be one-to-one, right? And if the whole world was involved, I still wouldn't involve the other people. But today I take a stand saying that I have taken a stand, and everybody needs to know that this is the stand I've taken, and for these reasons.
Okay.
Like, you know, if like, for example, like when he said, I mean, are you comfortable? Do you think you'll do it? It's a downgrade for your level. The person we're talking about is the person I'm going to be reporting to all over again. Till he told me that, it was never there in my mind. So then I thought about it. Then I spoke to my super boss. He had a laugh. And I said, then I wrote back to him saying that if you think it's going to be perceived as a downgrade, ti- the title you give me will take care of your fears. So he very conveniently came back and said, sorry, I can't give you any title. Okay, I'm here for the next 2 years. I'm here setting up the process and systems. I'm not going to make any changes. I said, fair enough. So I went back to his reporting boss and I said, this is the conversation I had. He had a hearty laugh. He said, I have no problem setting it right, but at this point of time, he's just started reporting to me 2 months back. I don't want to ruffle feathers. Just go along.
Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
Anjana, I hear you.
No, I'm just saying, though this is personal, but I'm just saying this is the same thing of,
This is how
like, you
it's
have to
playing
stand
out.
up for yourself.
Yeah, playing out in
You
your
have
life.
to stand up for yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And there is one thing interesting which comes up in response to what you shared, which is the analogy of a ship. Ship is in water, okay, but it doesn't drown in water unless it lets the water come in. Okay? And same way it is about negativity all around us. We may be surrounded by negativity, but we can still float on it unless we let the negativity come inside us. So when whoever that person is says that this is a downgrade, unless you let it come in and impact you, it's okay. You can still be, it can be all around you and doesn't bother you. All right.
It didn't bother me.
Yeah, yeah. I know. No, I'm just saying.
And just one more thing.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
share because it may, the negativity surrounds all of us. So this example, you of
very true.
course, you've dealt with it, but for some others, this may be relevant. This analogy may be relevant.
Very true. Very
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Ansna. So hi Ashish, hi Sasha. Good evening.
Good evening, Ashish. Good
Good
evening.
evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Sesha, Ashish, anything you would like to share from our last three sessions? Ego, emotional intelligence, compassion, and then how it played out in your life. Anything you would like to share quickly before we get started with our session today?
Yeah, the same kind of situation which Anjana was mentioning.
Okay, okay.
It's pretty challenging that what we see on the other side. Yeah, it takes a good amount of time.
Yes, yes. It takes, you are quite right, Sasha. It takes practice. It
Mm.
is like having a one more perspective or one more tool that you can use
Mhm.
and being aware of that. So when with awareness, you can earlier you would have responded in a particular way. Now you know and you can choose because you have more choices to the same challenge that you're facing. That is what Anjana was also talking about. Earlier, she would have reacted in a particular way, and now it is 70-80% less. Okay. So with practice over a period of time, it gets better. And there was before you came in, Venkateshwar was talking about how do we really tune into our emotions in our body. So I'll share a body scan meditation in the group tomorrow. And I would urge you to practice, each one of you to practice that. It's a very powerful meditation and benefits. So you can practice this once a day as many times as you would for as many days as you would like to. Ashish, anything you would like to share before we get started?
No, sir. See, honestly speaking, I am engaged in the personal matters. So I have not practiced to the right extent. I will certainly do, as most of the things I have concluded here, I have done on my part, and now I'm finding time. And I also plan to come around Christmas back to Mumbai, so I will have more time because in the last week there are no work to be done. Any offices will be remain closing mode. So, but see, the things which you have told are extremely useful. We have to implement it in a very careful, structured, and mindful way.
Yeah, yeah. Sure, sure. And that is what you can engage with your accountability partners whenever you have a challenge. Either you can put it in the group or engage with your accountability partner and discuss the same. Yes, Anjana, you want to share something?
Sir, your voice became very low, sir.
Sorry?
I just said that's me.
Acha, okay, okay. Yes, I know, I know. Yes, Venkateshwar, you were saying something?
Your voice is very low, sir.
My voice is low.
Yeah.
Okay. Is
We are
everyone
able
able
to
to
hear.
hear?
We are able to hear.
Yeah, okay, okay. Good. So let's get started with the seventh habit. And this is, I may be saying this for every session, but this one is particularly close to my heart because this sets up a virtuous upward spiral of growth. And if we go back to what we covered in the quadrant, in the session on time management, sharpen the X is, okay, let me ask you a little later which quadrant it will fall in. So this is a story about a woodcutter who is chopping trees in the jungle, and he is exhausted and tired and sweating. It's a hot day. Um, and there is a passerby who looks at him and he says, "Hey, brother, why don't you take some rest and sharpen your axe so that you will be able to cut trees faster?" And this guy angrily shouts back at him and he says, "Can't you see I have so many trees to cut? There is no time to rest. There is no time to sharpen my axe." Now, when we hear this story, we may laugh at it, because it's very obvious to us that if he takes rest and is recharged, and if he takes time to sharpen the axe, he will be able to cut more trees. But when it comes to our own lives, it is not so obvious. We rarely, stop, most of us rarely stop to sharpen our X or dedicate any regular time to sharpening the X. And this is a quotation from Abraham Lincoln, which I really love, which he says that if you give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, I'll spend first 4 sharpening the X. You know, look at this. 4 out of 6 is what percentage?
75.
It's 2/3, right? About 2/3, 4 out of 6 is about 2/3 of the, so
Circle.
66% or something like that, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Now, if you remember when we were at quadrant 2, we discussed what percentage of time the business leaders spend in quadrant 2 activities. Anyone remembers what was the percentage of time we quoted?
70.
70, right? 50 to 70%. Now look at the same thing getting corroborated by Abraham Lincoln. So all the leaders know this fact very well, and they spend this kind of time in sharpening the X. Now let us understand what does sharpening the X mean even in our context. So of course we are not cutting trees, and so you might be wondering, how do I sharpen my X? And we will come to that in a bit. But before that, let us understand, let me ask you, what is our most important asset? And please unmute and respond. There is a lot of discussion we will have today. So be available for discussion, and there are no right or wrong answers. So don't worry about that, but just share what is the most important asset that we have.
Solutions.
Yes, Ashish, you want to go first?
Our skills, sir, our skills,
Very
and
good.
our thought process, which is most important, I feel.
Our mindset, our skills. Thank you for sharing that, Ashish. Venkateshwar.
Our
Health is the most important. Without that, you can't do anything, sir.
Very nice. Our health is most important. Our skills, our mindset. Sudeshna, welcome. Sasha.
thank you.
Yeah.
Our body.
Our body, health. Okay, health, mindset, skills. Sasha, Anjana. Anjana has dropped off. Sasha. Sasha, what's our most important asset? Are you there?
Health.
So Ashish,
Health.
Yeah, sorry.
sorry, I would reaffirm with what the people here have said, my friends here. Health, it could be mental and physical.
All right. Health, mindset, our physical ability to work, our skill sets, all of this is right. Okay. I'll just like to give a different perspective to this. It's not that this is not correct. This is the right answer. But I would put it in a broader term, which is our ability to earn money. Okay. Is the most important asset that we have got. So whether it is the mindset, whether it is the knowledge, attitude, habits, whatever, it's subset of our ability to earn. And once we have that ability, even if we lose our assets like our house or something else, or our job, we will still be able to recreate our wealth. Now, I would like you to take a couple of minutes and calculate how much income do you think we are going to earn in our lifetime? Now, that may mean 20 years, 30 years, or whatever, 40 years for you. Like I'm looking at working for next 23 years, okay, till 2047. So for me, it's a 23-year career span. It may be different for you, but whatever it is, how much you think you will earn in next 10, 20, 30 years? Take time, use Excel. You can put formulas of like 5%, 10% increment, or just take simple, whatever way you want to do. It's 8:12 by my watch. Take 3 minutes and come up with that figure for yourself. How is it going for you? Any success? Any challenge? Yes, Venkateshwar, something coming up for you? You got your number?
Not.
Hmm?
I got for 16 years, sir.
You got for 16 years? You want to share that
160.
number?
Just for 3 crores, right? For the lakhs.
3 crores, right? Okay, very
Yes.
nice. Okay, thank you. Sasha, Sudeshna, Anjana, Ashish, are you there? Yes. Anybody got that number? It's 3 crores for Venkateshwar.
Um,
No,
Really
I-
sorry. Go
Sorry.
ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Sesha.
Yeah, what I found is, yeah, probably close to double, but not in crores.
Okay. Double but not in crores means?
Yeah, so about, I would say, 80% on what I'm getting now.
What is the total figure that's coming, Sasha? So how many more years from now you will be working?
Yeah, another 10 years.
10 years. And how much will you earn in those 10 years?
Oh, the actual figure is close to 60 lakhs.
60 lakhs.
Yeah.
How?
So every year is 1.8, yeah, 8%.
So it'll be, no, so total, give me the total figure for 10
Oh,
years.
total figure. Okay,
Ah,
okay.
ah.
Sorry.
So 16 to 10.
Yeah, 6, yeah.
About 6 crores. Okay.
Yeah.
Anjana, what is it for you?
Depending on the timeline, it
Okay.
could be between 5 and 15 crores.
All right. Very
If
nice.
I decide to
Ashish,
stop working earlier,
5
then
to
it's lesser.
15. Okay. Yeah, no worries. Ashish?
For me, it can be numbers. I plan to work for at least 15 years from now.
Yeah.
I'm 50 years old, so I plan to work until 65
Okay.
minimum.
Okay.
And in these 15 years, it can be any number ranging from 8 crores to 15 crores.
All right. Very nice. Sudeshna, you got your number?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I am startled. So it is coming to 4.5 crores
Yeah. Okay.
over 18 years.
All right. All right. So 3 crores, 5 crores, 10 crores, 15 crores. These are the range of numbers that we have got. Now, there was two parts, two reasons why I asked you to do this exercise. One is for you to get used to that number, okay? Because that's the number we are going to earn, you are going to earn. And second is think in terms of the capacity or capability you need to develop to earn that, okay? So suppose I'm earning X and I need to go to earn 2X, or 3X. Then do I need to invest in developing my capability, or with the same capability, this increase in income going to happen? So that is the kind of thought process I want to invite you to have today when we are talking about sharpening our X, and we will delve into this little bit more. So number one objective, get used to the number 5, 10, 15, 3 crores, whatever number of crores. It can be more also, I don't know. But start getting used to that number. This is an exercise in widening your thought process. Normally, we think in terms of what we're going to earn in a year. We never think in terms of what we are going to earn in a lifetime. And what we're going to earn in a lifetime is our value, actually, if we may say. Okay. So we need to understand our value and then work towards making that happen. Now, coming back to the point about the X, sharpening the X and building the capacity to earn 3, 5, 10, 15 crores, there are 4 components that we need to work on, and most of these were rightly identified by you. One is the physical capacity, the health that we have. अगर हमारा health ही खराब होगा तो हम कुछ ज़्यादा कर नहीं सकते. Second is our emotional capacity or the attitude that you spoke about. Then third is the mental capacity, which was already pointed out by you, which is in terms of skills and mindset that we have got. And then the fourth, which is also a very important one, is the spiritual capacity. So we are going to spend next 45 minutes to an hour discussing this and understanding how do we work on this, how do we put a plan in place that will help us, these 4 components of the plan: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. And most of you are also part of the goal setting workshop. So think it in terms of the goals also that you need to work and work towards. Now let us look at this horse. Okay. Now suppose any idea how much a race course horse will cost? Anybody? Yes, Anjana.
Upwards, I mean, if it is a trained racehorse, upwards of 1 crore.
Upwards of 1 crore, right? Now, that's a very good estimate, Anjana. And now imagine if we have invested 1 crore of rupees in a horse. We expect him to win the race and make some money, maybe 1 crore, 50 lakhs, whatever, 2 crores, or a lifetime, 4, 5 crores, whatever. Now, if I have got a horse on which I have invested 1 crore rupees to run in a race, how would you take care of that horse? Anybody tell me?
Yeah, I have a groom for the horse. If you look after the horse, I have a specialized trainer. I have a doctor who comes and sees it every week and on call. The person has, I mean, the horse has, okay, just because I know how this happens.
Sure.
So you have a training schedule in the morning. You have, the horse's attendant who takes you for a round. You have in the morning, in the evening, there's a swimming pool, there is food, there is. It's like how you take care of a cricketer, right?
Okay.
You
Okay.
have everything scheduled and you have um, all of the required professionals available to make sure that there is no reason that the horse cannot run or
Got it.
made to be run.
Okay. So you will have an attendant, you will have him take for the morning walks, swimming in the evening, doctor,
You have
massages,
a
rounds,
trainer, you have
grooming.
everything.
Yeah, everything, right? Now, do you think we will feed the horse with the burgers once in a while if it's a
No
weekend?
way.
No way?
No, no way.
Beer?
It's got a very regimented diet, what they have regularly before the race,
Okay.
after the race.
Okay. Beer once in a while?
They do, yes.
Okay. Okay. No junk food, but beer is okay.
It's got a purpose.
Okay. Okay.
It's
Good.
got a benefit.
Okay. Now draw parallel to our own selves. Okay. A horse on which we have invested 1 crore and how we are going to take care of that horse. And I don't know what's our worth, whether we are worth 3 crores, 1 crore, 5 crores, 10 crores. Okay. And how do we take care of ourselves? Okay. Just think about it. आप घोड़े को रेस में भगाने के लिए इतना मेहनत करते हो, इतना अच्छा डॉक्टर, इतना अच्छा अटेंडेंट, अपने लिए पीटी रखा है क्या हमने किसी ने? ओके, या अपना रेजिमेंट बनाया है हमने? हम अपने कॉर्पोरेट रेस भाग रहे हैं. What is the take care we take of our body? It's so clear to us what we will do when we have got a race horse, but do we have the same clarity? And I'm talking to everyone, okay? When it comes to us, we are also running a race, right? Corporate race. It's no less intense. Yes, Anjana, yes.
Yeah, I think there's a slight difference. I'm not saying about the race. Okay. The difference comes when you don't know your goal yourself. You don't have clarity of goal.
Correct.
That's the biggest thing, because uh, we stumble upon life. And like
Yeah.
how the video describes, saying that it's not complacency that actually is the biggest downfall, but inactivity, right? You do something because you are expected to do it. You don't even know why you have to do it.
Yeah. So we are all part of the rat race, right? सब उठ के
Yeah.
सुबह जा रहे हैं ऑफिस, तो हम भी जा रहे हैं, सब शाम को वापस आ रहे हैं, तो हम भी आ रहे हैं. We're not clear about the purpose, right? That is what becoming a trailblazing leader is about: having a vision, having a purpose. That's what the goal setting workshop is about, right? And now we have a fair bit of idea, at least in one side, that we are looking at earning between 3 crores to 15 crores. Now I would like you to take 5 minutes, okay, and reflect. Each one of you reflect for yourself. Do you have a body which will support your earning 3 crores to 15 crores? If the answer is yes, then you're sorted. And if the answer is no, what are the changes you're going to make, starting now to next 5, 10, 15 years, where you will have a body which will support your earning 15 crore rupees or 5 crores or 3 crores. Because if we don't have that body, then that earning is not going to happen. So it's 28:25 by my watch. Take 5 minutes. You can think in terms of the diet changes you will make. Okay. You can think it in terms of the exercise regimen you will put in place. You can think in terms of the rest you will give to your body. Okay. You might be aware that a horse also needs to be rested. When it's preparing for a race, you just can't have him run throughout the day, which is what many a times we keep doing. Keep running, keep running, keep running. And then at night also, we are not able to sleep. The mind is running and so on and so on. So what is it? And you don't have to know everything for next 10, 15 years. At least for next 1 year, if you can have some clarity that if I don't go for a morning walk, I'll start going for a morning walk. Or if I don't go for a gym, I'll start going to gym. Or if I want to do yoga, I'll do yoga. Whatever regimen you want to come up with, what is it that you will do? And how will you get started? Getting started, recognizing that you need to have a body which will help you earn 3 to 15 crores is very, very important. If we don't have a body, then that income, most of you agreed that we need to have good health to be able to earn. Same thing for the horse, same thing for us. So what is it that you're going to do? Are you going to put self-care routines in place for yourself? What is it that you're going to do? So think about it, write down. Are there any dietary changes you're going to make? Or are you going to rest better? What is it that you're going to do? And are you committed to, is health becoming your number one value? If you remember in the second session, we talked about what do we value? So is money your number one value? Or now are you realizing that the money can't happen if the health doesn't happen? So now health becomes number one value. Because if money is number one and health is not number one, then money is not going to happen. Unlikely that money is going to happen. Or even if it happens, we may not be able to enjoy it. Like Mr. Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, you might be familiar with that name. He was a chartered accountant, self-made billionaire, who's worth 40,000 crores, but untimely death because he could not take care of his health and passed away at an relatively early age of some 60s, early 60s, because of diabetes and other health challenges. So what's the point? You earn 40,000 crores, but don't take care of your health, so you pass away early. So just reflect on where does health come for you and what is it that you want to do. And what I would urge you to do, I don't need a complete action plan from you, but what I would certainly expect from you is to put health as your first goal or the most important goal as we are progressing towards 2025. Because this is what is going to make the other goals possible. Sudeshna, any thoughts coming up for you?
So I have already started working on this goal, and it is on my goal setting sheet also. And I have enrolled myself in a, you know, क्या कहते हैं उसको? Into a health program. So today is the 5th day. And many a times, I mean, because I haven't been moving since a long period, so it was not easy to get up on the 3rd day. But then आपका वो याद आ गया कि 2 मिनट के लिए भी हो तो करो. So I got up and 2 मिनट में I completed the entire thing. और फिर हाँ, और अच्छा लगा. So today is day 5.
Yes.
सबसे अजीब बात है that I go to sleep early and I wake up very early, feeling very good.
Yes, it's showing, Sudeshna. It's showing. I don't know if others can feel that, but there's Sudeshna is more cheerful and more energetic, brighter. Very nice. You're looking very nice. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Very, very happy to note this and very happy for the progress that you're making. Thank you. Anybody else would like to share? One quick share before we move on. Any doubt, any challenge, anything coming up for, or is it good? Venkateshwar and yeah, sorry, Anjana.
I was just going to ask, is this a question to all or is it only for Sudashna?
No, I just asked Sudeshna because she had health was one of her things she wants to focus on, and also because she came in late, so I could hear from her earlier. So that's why.
No, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
But happy to hear any challenge, anything coming up, any doubt, anything coming up for anyone. Happy to hear that before we move to the next element. Okay. If nothing coming up, we can pick it. And if anything comes up for you, then we can pick it up later. So tripod of good health, we already discussed. It's 3. Normally we think in terms of exercise and diet, but rest is equally important. If we don't rest, no horse will win the race. Okay. Now, the second interesting question I would like to ask you, which is also related to health, and this is also not a test of knowledge, but an estimate, a understanding of how long do you think we are going to live?
Actually, very ironical. If you ask me from a pure current actuarial perspective, we're talking about every 5 years you add 1.5, 2 years to the average lifespan.
Correct.
So by the time you could look at an 83, 85 at this point of time for a female very easily. And even more thing was that I was actually following somebody and I was just reading up on a lot of stuff. And the program that this person has is, do you want to live to 125?
Okay.
So it comes with a very different technology or theory or medical science is based on DNA and what works and supplements and to counter stuff and things like that. So basically you're fortifying your body. You're correcting the imbalances with something external. Like, I mean, right now we're looking at saying that if we want to get somewhere, we have a shortfall in a particular skill. So we're looking to learn the skill so that we don't have that shortfall, right? And we can reach our goals. So if your goal is 125 and technical shortfalls are XYZ, how do you correct it? Yes, along with that, there are a lot of other things that happens, like in terms of food, nutrition, exercise, mental well-being and stuff, but
Sure.
basing of it.
Sure.
So
So 85 to 125 is what I hear Anjana say.
you can do if you want to do it.
Yeah, sure, I know. What do others think? How long the people on this call will live?
Yeah, same. I don't know about crossing 100, but आराम से 80 साल जीना पड़ेगा. I don't want to.
I like the way she says Jeena Padega. It's too
I know,
much.
I noticed that. Ashish, Venkateshwar, Sasha, quickly, what's the number for you?
On research, people will be living up to 100 years. Sir.
100, okay. Sasha, Ashish,
Yeah, 85, 90.
85, 90, Ashish.
It can be, sir, any number between 80 to 90. But see, this is what we think, we assume. But whatever is written in, जैसे बोलते हैं जितनी सांसें लिखी हैं,
नहीं, वो अलग एंगल है, उस एंगल में नहीं जा रहे हैं हम. It is practically possible that each one of us on this call will live 100 or beyond. Okay, that is how the medical technology is advancing. Now, it is also important for us to understand that if we have to live that long, for most of us, maybe around 50 or so on this call, another 50 years, are we preparing for that kind of health? या तो ये जीना पड़ेगा वाला हेल्थ है, गिरते पड़ते जी रहे हैं हम लोग, या हमको पहले से ही मालूम हो कि बस 100 साल जी सकता हूं मैं, उसके लिए मैं हेल्थ की तैयारी कर रहा हूं कि नहीं कर रहा हूं. ओके, so we have to keep our body ready from two perspectives. One is earning 3, 5, 10, 15 crores. Second is, if I am around for 100 years, क्या मैं गिरते पड़ते जीऊंगा, फैमिली के ऊपर बर्डन होके जीऊंगा, या अपने पैरों पे चल के जीऊंगा? Those are the calls we need to take for ourselves as leaders, because this is a program on leadership. So what am I deciding for myself? How am I going to lead my life? Am I looking at next 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years? This is the kind of vision I would like to have for you to have for yourself, that kind of clarity. Second comes emotional capacity. Okay. And we had one whole discussion, one whole session dedicated to emotional capacity. This is also our state of being. हम अंदर से कैसा महसूस कर रहे हैं. ओके, इट इज लाइक एक गमले में मिट्टी होती है, मिट्टी में हम बीज डालते हैं तो वो उग जाता है, प्रोवाइडेड कि वो मिट्टी अच्छी हो. अगर वो मिट्टी टॉक्सिक हो, वो मिट्टी के अंदर एसिड पड़ा हुआ हो, तो आप बीज डालोगे, कितने भी बीज डालोगे तो वो नहीं होगा. There was a point of time in my life when I would just keep working, but still the results were not coming because my mental state of being was in a way toxic. The negativity was there, which I didn't realize. I used to think I'm a very positive person, but inside there was a lot of negativity, and all the seeds of action that I was sowing were getting killed by that negativity. Right. So what is our internal state of being? If the how do we treat ourselves? What's the kind of internal conversation I have with myself? If my horse loses a race, am I going to come and tell the horse day in and day out, you are a loser, you are a loser, you are a loser? वो तो कोई दूसरा रेस जीत ही नहीं पाएगा. ओके, तो बट हम लोग अपने साथ ऐसे ही करते हैं. In one of the earlier sessions, somebody said, my past interferes with my capability to perform in the present. Okay, अगर एक हॉर्स एक रेस हार गया तो क्या वो जिंदगी भर दूसरा रेस नहीं जीतेगा क्या? How are we treating ourselves? That is very, very important. And how are we treating other people around us? So those are the things we need to take care of when it comes to state of being. And one very powerful practice, very simple but very powerful practice, which comes is in the area of emotional intelligence, is emotional bank account. Okay, we have a bank account in the bank, a savings account in the bank. We have a emotional deposit account with a person. Okay, and if I have say got 1 lakh rupees in the account, I can withdraw up to 1 lakh rupees, right? If I put check for 1 lakh 1 rupee also, it will bounce because There is no balance. Similarly, when we are dealing with emotions of a person and I am doing a deposit in the person's emotional account, then I can, if I ask somebody to do a favor, if I ask Sesha to do something for me, like I went to Bangalore, he came to pick me up, because some deposit I may have made. Otherwise, why would people travel 1 hour to come and pick me up? So, these are deposits. Now, what constitutes a deposit? Some of these may be obvious to you, but just for the purpose of clarifying, kindness, being truthful, okay, keeping your words, being generous, being grateful are the things. Doing something for someone are the deposit, constitute a deposit, and the opposite is, or praising someone in public, and the withdrawal is scolding someone in public, or saying something and doing something completely different, or cheating or anything else. Those are the withdrawals. Now, another thing very interesting in understanding emotional bank account is the currency of deposit. Okay, if I have a bank account in rupee, I can't go and withdraw dollars from that account. Or if I have a dollar account, I can't withdraw yen from that. So what constitutes a deposit for a person is very unique to that person. I'll give a very small example. Like in my home, I like water jug to be filled and kept on the table. Okay. Now, if that water jug is filled and kept on the table, it's a huge deposit for me. I really like it. But if there is no water on the table, and if I have to go and fill water for myself, from the aquaguard, then it's a withdrawal. Now, my wife may say, Ashish, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. But if the jug is not filled and not there, it's a huge withdrawal for me. So please understand, it is very specific to the individual what is the deposit and what is the withdrawal. Okay. For some person, something may be deposit. For some person, some withdrawal. Like hugging publicly may be deposit for someone. It may be withdrawal for someone. If somebody comes, if my wife's son comes and hugs me, when I am having a mindful living meeting, I'll feel very embarrassed. But she will think, यार मैं तो उसको प्यार दिखा रही हूँ, ये तो कैसा react कर रहा है. So that's a withdrawal for me, while it's a deposit for her. So understand, we have to understand what is it the person is looking for and then make those deposits. हम अपने हिसाब से सोच के डिपॉजिट नहीं कर सकते उसके लिए कि यार मैं तो इतना कुछ कर रहा हूँ, वो तो अप्रिशिएट ही नहीं कर रहा. ऐसे नहीं, उसको जो चाहिए वो आप कर रहे हैं कि नहीं कर रहे हैं. That is what emotional bank account is. And this is one of the most powerful tools that you can have in better relationships. A lot of people come and tell me, Ashish, people don't listen to me. And the reason people don't listen to you, or whether it is your family members, colleagues, senior, junior, is because we have not taken out time to invest in the relationship. And that is why I always say that it is slow is fast, actually. I have been in assignments, especially when you are in a new job or you are into a new assignment, we are in a rush to push things and achieve results without taking time to build relationships, to invest in relationships with people, understanding the people and building bridges with them. Whenever I have tried and gone and pushed business before building relationships, मैं चारों खाने चित गिरा हूं. Okay, somewhere or the other that will come up as a challenge. So investing in relationships, whether it is with your children, with your spouse, with your colleagues, with your boss, peers, senior, junior, is one of the best things that you can do. Be careful, and it's not so complicated. By little bit of observation, you can develop that sense, what is this person likes, and you then do what that person likes. Is this manipulation? No, this is not manipulation. This is intelligence. This is emotional intelligence. We are not playing with someone's emotions to get some benefit out of it. This is coming from a space of being generous. It's coming from a space of being kind, coming from a space of being compassionate and doing things, investing in relationships. At the start of the session, I shared that अगर मेरा सब कुछ चले जाएगा ना, तो भी मेरे पास कैपेबिलिटी है टू स्टैंड अप अगेन एंड स्टार्ट अर्निंग इज बिकॉज ऑफ द पावर ऑफ रिलेशनशिप्स दैट वी हैव गॉट. So once we invest in relation, there is a very interesting book, Happy Money, which is written by Ken Honda. And that book is one of the top selling books. He's one of the top 5 selling authors in Japan. And he's written this book after doing research with $12,000 millionaires in Japan. It's a fantastic book. You know, at the end of the book, what he says, the true wealth is relationships. Because when you have relationships, even if you lose your wealth, you can recreate it. But if your relationships are gone, then you are indeed very, very poor. Okay. So I'll pause here to see if this is, how is this landing on you? If you have any questions or any comments.
I think what you say is absolutely true. And I think with age and experience, does this thing of what matters really come up? Because I think, and this especially happens when, like, when you're going up the pyramid, because your tasks are different. Your dependence on people to get things done. When I say get things done, because you're no more an individual contributor. Like when it's the first step in life, you are at the bottom of the entire pyramid, right? You're feeding the pyramid. So the minute you become a team leader or a manager, you have to not only, okay, this is very crude to put it, extract from the bottom of the pyramid, but you also have to facilitate the extraction. And that's where you need synergies and you need other people to help, because it's a lot of other things. And today, I mean, in probably 2-3 decades ago, it's a lot more simpler. But today you have multiple factors, because the way we do things, the way we live, everything has changed so differently. And I think courtesy this, people have also lost patience. So it comes with its whole lot, the pluses and minuses. So the understanding that this needs to be done, and it's very ironic. I'm not sure, it is not very, I just read a post today morning or yesterday evening about Ikigai. This is Devdutt's post. So he had a take on what Ikigai meant. And he says, it's all about self. Like, it talks about improving yourself. It talks about doing something. It just talks about the individual and themselves. It never talks about the other person in the equation and what can you give and what can you get. And what you're currently telling me, it just resonates with that, saying that you can't be a silo in this world. And you can't behave the way you're behaving. Like, I mean, you can't do Ikigai and just think about yourself, what you need or what you will do, without understanding what's the impact that you have on somebody else and what can you get in return. I mean, you could say it's a very matlabi way of doing it, but what I do, I will get something back. Do I like what I'm getting back? Is that good for me? That should also define my action.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
If I hear you right, Sudeshna, what you just said is, what I get is a function of what I give. So what comes back to me is what I'm giving. So we need to be very careful.
It's karma. Like, I mean, if you're looking at, so his other take was that, instead of following all of this, you look at the Indian way of doing things, right? Your yajna, your karma. Like in yajna, you give something to get something. You're doing that penance to get your boon, right? So you give up something. So it's just that If you give something, you get whatever equivalent to what you give up or whatever it is. Like, you invest in something, you get a result. I'll put it that way in a corporate world. So
Sure.
until the right amount of investment, the right type of investment,
Yeah.
the boon you get shard, like Tatastu, is very different.
So keep investing, little act of kindness or that random act of kindness or one act of kindness every day to one person. Keep doing those over it.
Kindness from that person's perspective, not from my perspective.
Absolutely. Got it. Bingo. Thank you, Anjana. Sasha, anything coming up for you?
Yeah. I mean, many such examples, like what we give and take. Like, that's a policy that we have been taught since school days. But giving with respect to what they need is one thing that I understood today.
Okay. Very nice. So later tell me, Sasha, what does that translate into for you in your sense? Okay, in your context. Okay.
Yeah, building.
Venkateshwar, anything coming up for you?
Sir, actually, for any relationship, we take it for granted, sir. But when we are actually working consciously, as you have told just now, being aware of other person's needs, the relationship will be developed a lot. That's what I got it.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Sudeshna, anything quickly coming up for you?
So your session that spoke on Aham Brahmasmi. So I
First
am
session.
relating to that. So when Anjana was talking about Ikigai and how it's a little different than what we are talking here. So I was rating it to it differently, that whatever the situation is, I, as the sole powerful being, will take the responsibility to create a change in that. So that's how I am celebrating me and lifting me up, because I am at the source of everything and I can do it that way.
Very nice. So what I hear you say is you start by investing in your own emotions and doing self-care before you go out and do it for others. Is that what you're saying, Sudeshna? Okay. Thank you. Ashish, anything coming up for you?
See, I have experienced it in a big way in my life. I have been fortunate enough to get in touch with many of the great leaders. But only thing, I have not invested in the relationships at the right moment, at the right time, as I felt that I was too busy to manage the things, to manage the work, and if I would have invested in the relationships with those people at the right time, who were at the regional level and now who are at the country level, so it would have made a big difference to my life.
Thank you so much for being so honest, Ashish. And that's a great takeaway to have. And just on this note that you shared, I was once talking to a CEO, and Anjana will be able to relate to this because he was the CEO of an insurance company. And he told me, Ashish, I have, like, he was giving me a list of top 10 things he does. And top 10 things include dealing with the regulator, dealing with his board, dealing with the board of the company they had collaborated with because it was a joint venture, uh, dealing with some bureaucrats, and so on and so forth. In the top 10 things that he used to do, work was not there. मैंने बोला इसमें काम नहीं है. बोला काम तो अपने आप होता है. काम अपने आप होता है. मेरा काम है ये 10 स्टेक होल्डर को संभाल के रखना. That is the work of the CEO. Okay, whether आप उसमें इमोशनल बैंक अकाउंट करो, काइंडनेस करो, उनको जो भी करना है आपको करो, but point is relationships are very, very important. Thanks for bringing that up, Ashish. Great point.
With few of them, I kept in touch. I invested in the emotional bank account, and they are still supporting me. They are very, very senior, but they are very few. Had I invested at the right time and learned this,
Yeah.
this is very, very powerful thing, and it helps in a big way. I have seen few people who are still at the top level, but still invest on in, such relationships on regular basis.
Correct. That
In
is
my
what.
previous company, in my previous company, there is one business head who is a kind of a overall business head, global sales head, and still even for his subordinates, without any necessity, he will send his birthday cakes to people who are 3 steps down him,
Mhm.
and that too he spends from his own pocket. And any new person who gets in touch with him, any new joinee at a senior level, he everyone praises about him.
Yeah. Yeah. Very, very powerful. And gestures like this, we always remember forever. Okay.
Yes.
Like Ashish, you were talking about your boss who was tough but very kind. Or once I was in a meeting, we were in a conference, 2 days conference, and at the same time, my sister had published an article. We had written an article which has got published in a magazine. And I was not having time to go out because we were in a conference, and sometimes magazines just go off the shelf. And I just happened to mention this to my CEO that my sister, and he sent somebody to the stand to pick up that article, buy that magazine and get it for me, as a personal copy. Now वो 10-20 रुपए की मैगजीन होगी, कोई पैसे की बात नहीं थी, बट आज मैं 15-20 साल बाद भी आपको ये कहानी सुना रहा हूँ क्योंकि उसने टच किया मेरे को. And
Correct.
when you touch people, when you do deposits like this, then people become yours. You rule the world. Okay.
Correct.
And I'm going to talk more about it, but this is a context in which, so I'll mention it. We are launching a program called LSD, Take Your Career to a New High in 2025, which is LSD is Lakshmi Saraswati Durga. And Durga is about emotions. How do you invest in emotions so that the returns you get is infinite? जब भी आप इमोशन में इन्वेस्ट करते हो ना, इनफाइनाइट रिटर्न्स मिलते हैं. So anyway, that's just by the way I'm mentioning. So now we have done physical, which is our body. We're going to live till 100 years. We're going to earn 3, 5, 15 crores. So is our body ready for that kind of earning? Is our body ready to live till 100? Now we have done emotional, investing in our emotional state of being, investing in other people, and understanding what works for them. So these are the two things that we have done. And now we are moving to the third one, which is what some of you rightly mentioned earlier, is the focus, time management, positive thinking, critical skills, the honor part. And here I would like to share this favorite quote of mine, which is the best investment you can make is an investment in yourself. The more you learn, the more you earn. And who better than Warren Buffett to say this? He used to sell newspapers as a student on his bicycle. And today he's worth more than $100 billion, self-made billionaire. And he's not the only one who's saying this. This gentleman, Charlie Jones, says that 5 years from today, you will be the same person you are today, except for the books you read and the people you meet. People you meet is the emotional part. The books you read is the intellectual part. So what do we do in terms of our learning and the kind of company we keep is what is going to make a difference. And it is for this reason we are launching systematic learning plan. Some of you have already registered for the session on Saturday at 5 p.m. For those of you who have not registered, I would urge you to register, come and see this plan that we have put in place for you. Benjamin Barber says, I don't look at people who are strong or weak, success or failure. I look at the world in terms of those who are learning and those who are not learning. So investing in our own learning and building our skills, building our mental capacity, building our focus, cognitive abilities is absolutely the way to go forward, especially in times like this when the change is happening at such a rapid pace. And it is not for anybody. The most successful people have coaches. This one is Bill Campbell, who is often called the $1 trillion coach, because he was a coach to Steve Jobs, Eric Schmidt, and many other people. Eric Schmidt was the founder CEO of Google. So those are the people who coached were him, and that's why he's got this name $1 trillion coach. Or look at sports, Sachin and Vinod Kambli, who had Ramakant Achrekar as their coach. So the best of the best invest in their own learning and development on an ongoing basis. This is the most well-kept secret of all successful people. Okay. So we have done physical, emotional, mental capacity, and now we come to the spiritual capacity. Now, what we're going to discuss in spiritual is from my perspective. It may mean completely different from your perspective, and I would respect that. I'm just sharing with you what, according to me, is spiritual. One thing is connecting with the nature. Okay, when you observe nature and you learn from that, the many rules of nature, they are, to my mind, what spirituality means. Like what you sow is what you reap. Okay, is a law of nature. Or if you look at the nature is not judging anyone. आप किसी भी पेड़ के नीचे जाके बैठ जाओ, वो पेड़ आपको ये नहीं बोलता आप पतले हो, लंबे हो, छोटे हो, मोटे हो, काले हो, गोरे हो. वो पेड़ आपको फल दे ही देगा. ओके, तो बोलेगा नहीं मैं मेरा फल इसी आदमी के लिए, ऐसा नहीं बोलता वो. So it's non-conditional. It accepts you as you are. It is always giving. Okay. If you look at everything in the nature, it's just giving. The sun is giving its rays. Rivers are giving their water. Oxygen is there. Everything is just giving. And they're not getting poorer by giving. They have been giving for like billions of years, and there is no, and we are like 700, 800 billion crore people, 7, 8 billion people, and still the nature is providing for everybody. So nature just keeps giving, and there is no shortage. So can we be a giver? Can we be non-judgmental? Think it in terms of also the the ego session that we had, of us differentiating with each other. Nature does not differentiate. It doesn't have it. The sun doesn't say, I'm the most powerful. If I'm not there, nothing will happen. Whereas we tend to be in those modes sometimes. Okay. And I'll pause here to see if you have any, if the nature and spirituality metaphor works for you, anything coming up for you before we move on to understand or discuss more of that.
I think, like you said, nature, somewhere, at least this is the way I perceive it, it just does its role. It doesn't think that, why should I be doing this?
Yeah.
Like, for example, rain rains, sun shines. Okay. If a cloud comes and blocks it, you don't have the sun. At least, so this is the way I perceive it. The sun doesn't get upset and angry that the next time he just melts away the cloud and there is no rain.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah.
You just focus on doing what you do best.
Yeah. So beautiful.
That's with nature.
It's acceptance, right? What we did in Swiss knife, acceptance. So sun accepts
it's
the
absolutely
clouds accept the sun, rain, everything. The nature is accepting of each other. Different flowers, nobody judges each other.
Each one has a role, right? You just focus on doing
Yeah.
Now, ironically, I just said something earlier. Now it's coming back to me. Like when you're talking about Ikakai, you're talking about doing your role. You're not talking about, I'm contradicting myself suddenly all of a sudden. Like, here I'm talking about nature saying that you do your role.
Beautiful.
Okay? You're not looking to see what the others do. But the reverse, when we're talking about kindness or creating a bank, you're doing it with the intention of creating that bank.
Beautiful. Anyone would like to share anything on nature that came up? Sasha, Sudeshna, Venkateshwar, Ashish, quickly. Any quick takeaways?
I always feel this that the birds, when they are singing, they don't care who is listening to them. Jahaki, I like the thing. And so I am very filmy also. My daughter always says, maybe filmy ma. So when I was small, then also I was very much impacted by the films and all. और बॉलीवुड तो आपको पता ही है सब उल्टा सीधा ही है तो मेरे को इतना था कि शायद मैं यहाँ गाना गाऊंगी तो somebody will notice and all कुछ नहीं हुआ तो जब birds they sing nobody takes note but they keep on singing कैसे क्या मतलब I recently went for that bird watching trip and इतने सारे birds थे वहाँ पे and they were all you know वो noises इतने सुंदर किसके लिए they don't even know who we are standing with binoculars and watching them तो वो
It's
बहुत ना
yeah.
मतलब
It's
इस
so
तरह से तो नहीं होता
yeah,
मेरे को ऐसा
sure. Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Sudeshna. And from what Anjana and Sudeshna are sharing, what is coming up for me is when you don't judge yourself and you don't judge others, there is so much energy which gets released, and that is the reason why the sun has been powering us for millions of years, and rivers have been having water and so on. Nature is not running dry because there is no judgment and full on energy flows. So imagine if we were to drop judgments and how much energy we will release. What Sudeshna is saying, that just sing, without worrying about what others will think. So much energy gets released. You're just enjoying yourself. So much energy, right? So think about it. Spirituality for me means connecting with nature, understanding the laws of the nature, how nature is, how abundant it is, and living with those. That's what spirituality means for me. And the next dimension of spirituality for me is seeing ourselves in others. Okay. And one thing which I have realized is that everybody in my life is at some degree a variation of what I am. I may be honest and the other person may be more honest or less honest. I may be smart, other person may be more smart or less smart. I may be intelligent. So everybody in my life is there is a scale, and I may be somewhere on that scale and they may be somewhere on that scale, but it's a scale, and it's essentially a reflection of what I am in people around me. And some of you may have heard me share this story about Lord Indra. Lord Indra, in this story, he lives on the top of Mount Abu, some mountain, and below him is a wide net of jewels, and there are knots there is a net, and at the knot of each net is a jewel which is perfectly transparent. So imagine a wide net which has got jewels and each node has got a jewel, and because they're completely transparent, they're all reflecting each other. And that is what human beings are. I am getting reflected in Sasha, Sasha is getting reflected in Anjana, Anjana is getting reflected in Sudeshna, and we are all getting reflected in each other. And जो मैं दूसरों में देख रहा हूं ना, वो मेरे अंदर ही है, वो कुछ अलग नहीं है. इससे ज्यादा अच्छा मैंने एग्जाम्पल और इससे सिंपल एग्जाम्पल नहीं देखा. The world is a reflection of ourselves. And understanding that there is nobody actually different from me. We are all the same. Whether we look at it in family terms, brother sister, तो पेरेंट्स सेम हो गए. फिर थोड़ा और देखेंगे हम तो इंडस्ट्री आ जाता है, अंजना एंड आई आर फ्रॉम द सेम इंडस्ट्री, तो वैसे ब्रदर सिस्टर हो गए. फिर इंडिया कंट्री आ जाती है, वी आर ऑल इंडियंस, तो हम सब एक हो गए. फिर ऐसे ह्यूमैनिटी, फिर ऐसा पूरा आते आता है. तो कितना बड़ा आप देखते हो, है तो सब हमारे छोटे में देखते तो हम सब अलग अलग हो जाएंगे. ओके, सब अलग अलग हैं, बट थोड़ी ब्रॉडर आइडेंटिटी लेंगे तो सब एक साथ हो जाएंगे. फिर और ब्रॉडर आइडेंटिटी, वी आर ऑल क्रिएशन ऑफ द गॉड, सो वी आर ऑल वन ओनली. ओके, so that is spirituality with me, seeing the unity in the diversity, seeing that everybody is a reflection on me. And then when you are me and I am you, then how can I hurt you? Or so, we are all the same. That is what spirituality means for me. And all right. Sure, Sasha. You can watch the recording. So I'll pause here to see if you have any comment on this one. So Deshna, we can't hear you.
Am I audible now?
Little better now.
Oh. So now is it audible? Huh. So I heard this जो आपने अभी बोला ना, I just recalled that एक ऐसा ही एक training session में somebody said we were all strangers in that room and he said the first rule is there is no other in this room. All are us. We are in all. So difficult है समझने में और अंदर उतरने में तो और भी. But these statements, stay with you, and with age or with experiences, gradually it. Now I'm in a better position to understand than 10 years ago.
Correct. No, sometimes it requires, it coming back, the same message coming back to us in different ways for it to seep in and become our own. Thanks for bringing that up, Suresh.
And also, I think, if you're open to it, or if you're seeking for that information, right, you're able to understand and absorb it more.
It's coming to you
Your
only because you're
willingness
seeking
to-
it. Yeah.
Your willingness to explore comes when you have an openness or you're seeking. Like openness, and if you don't seek, it still doesn't come in.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Anjana. Venkateshwar, Ashish.
So whatever we hear,
Venkateshwar, आपका आवाज नहीं आ रहा है.
Account their experiences, what we are undergone up to now. Now, sir. Hello, sir.
हाँ, फिर से बोलिए.
Whatever you are experiencing, whatever you hear something, we'll understand according to our.
Maybe you can switch off your camera and speak, Venkateshwar.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
So if you are hearing something, we will be able to understand according to our experiences, sir. So same thing if you heard 10 years back and now you're hearing same thing, the way we look at it might be different according to our maturity. The way, it can be understood in entirely different ways.
Correct. Thank you. Ashish, anything coming up for you?
We in the previous sessions we discussed that we have labeled everyone in our mind as a friend, as an enemy, as something based on our experiences, our interaction. So when we think that all are equal, so this does not universally apply because we ourselves have labeled someone something. That this fellow is a friend, this fellow is like that, this fellow, based on our own maybe single experience or multiple experiences. That he is always like this, he is always like that. So to become ideal and think everyone that God is there in everyone and we are all alike, so it's very difficult to implement.
Yeah, I understand that, Ashish. And that is why this session is the first step in creating that awareness. And once you become aware, maybe over a period of time, the change will happen. And the next one about being spiritual is understanding that we are all divine. Okay. And I would like to share this story of Golden Buddha. And this is a true story. In Bangkok, there is a golden Buddha statue. Okay. And one day what happened was there were people who were cleaning it, and this statue is actually covered in mud. Okay. And one day when the people were cleaning it, they saw that there is some light coming from inside the statue. And when they peeped little closer, they realized that there was a crack in the mud, which was covering the statue. And they didn't know there is something inside, but there's a crack and the light is coming from that. And when they gradually cleaned it a little bit more, and as they kept cleaning it, they realized that inside the what was on the outside a statue made of mud, inside it was pure gold. Okay. And the reason they had covered with mud is to protect the statue from being plundered, by the raiders. And that to me is how each one of us, there is a golden person, a golden Buddha inside each one of us, but we have covered it with mud around us. That mud could be self-doubt, that I am not good enough, I am not capable enough. Or that could be fear, that could be anger, that could be lust. It could be any of the low energy emotions. But once we start realizing that I am that golden Buddha, I am that son of the divine, I am that light, then the way we start treating ourselves and behaving, thinking, and then, that realization extends to other people. To Ashish's point that it is very difficult to practice is also because we don't see ourselves as that golden Buddha. Once we start seeing ourselves as that golden Buddha, then gradually over a period of time, we will start seeing everybody else as golden Buddha, because the world is a reflection of me. Okay. So if I see myself as that pure, secure light, then everybody else also is like that. Okay. So that's the other dimension of being spiritual. And I'll pause here once again to see if there is anything coming up for you.
I think a lot of times people, or even earlier, you have a confusion between being spiritual and being religious. They're very two different things.
Very nice.
I would put spiritual to be more in terms of being humane, and understanding where you come from and connecting with them.
Yes.
Right. You were just mentioning about something, and what reminded me was the Bhagavad Gita says, when a student is ready, when you're ready to learn, the teacher will appear. Okay. How or what is a different thing. So the universe understands what you need, and when you say that you have that need, you're willing, you want to do something, the path will appear. But if you don't want to do it, and if you're not invested in it, even if the path appears, you will not be able to identify that it's for you. And actually today, I'll post the particular poem that an aunt of mine sent me, and it's really nice. And what it says is that may actually says 1 second. May you see the door with your name on it. That's the blessing. Because a lot of times we know that there is something there, there's a blessing for us there, but we are blind to it. And then we are hunting, we say, okay, show us signs. And then we don't look at the sign.
Yeah.
We look somewhere else. It's looking. right, we look left, and then we say, sorry, you are not there. So I think connecting and understanding and being absolutely aware of your nuances as a person, as an individual, is spirituality. This is what I feel.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Anjana. And very important distinction between religion and spirituality. And that is why whatever I talked about spirituality today, it doesn't have any ritual around it, you know. So no religion is connecting with nature, seeing us in other person, and realizing our own divinity, you know. So yeah.
And just one thing that I actually want to say, like if you look at, okay, you have Hinduism as a religion, which is different. Like, you do sadhanas and you do worship and you have these protocols. But if you look at the Vedas, okay, if you look at literally, if you say the Mahabharata, the Ramayana, all of them, they are texts which prescribe a way of doing things. People sort of have misunderstood that as a text, like very unlike, like I could even say that even if you look at the Bible in its essence, it's fairly similar. But somewhere along the way, people have used it as a tool to interpret it in such a way to make that seem like, the religion, the controlling hold.
Sure.
Yeah.
It becomes a power play then. Venkateshwar, Sudeshna, Ashish.
I have one question.
Yes, Ashish.
See, just now, Anjana brought a point about the religion, which is a valid point. In Hindu religion, a lot of things which we practice because, see, I am a Hindu, and I believe all people in the group, no one belongs to any Muslim religion as of now. So I have a question that in Muslim religion, there are a lot of things which are practiced, which are kind of not compatible with the other religions. First of all, maybe because of it originated in the desert, so there is a ritual of cutting and eating the useless animal like that. So a lot of things are there which are not easy to digest and compatible with other religions' mythology. So in this context, so if some person is there who is a Muslim, so by default, if he the feeling and the understanding is not as the ideology which is being taught now. So any comment on that? Because see, someone may say during the business hours also he wants to go for namaz. Someone will say today's Bakri, aaj Bakri kaat ke uska prasad bhat raha hai. And someone, a lot of rituals I will not name individually, but there are many things which are not compatible or not universally acceptable by other religions.
Sure. I heard you, Ashish, and those kind of inconsistencies you may find in Hinduism also. I'm not getting into that because we have about 7-8 minutes remaining. But you look at like in Bengal, Brahmins will eat non-veg, whereas in other, maybe South Brahmins won't touch non-veg. Okay, so those kind of inconsistencies may be there within us also. It is up to us, and that is why I drew upon looking at nature and understanding what the laws of the nature are, understanding each other, looking within us, and not in comparison to the other people. So that is the context in which we are discussing spirituality for today's session context. Okay.
Okay.
Sudeshna,
So very briefly, Christmas time is just around the corner. So and I loved learning these Christmas carols. So one carol was "Count Your Blessings." Amazing, beautiful song. It just says that count your blessings, count them one by one. One. The other thing, and Anjana, yeah, beautiful thoughts you reflect every time you share something. Thank you so much. It's really a blessing that I am with you. In this is the consecutive second session where the learning curve is so high when you are around and you are speaking. Number two, जब Ashish ji, I mean Ashish Goyal ji, was talking about the discrepancies or whatever we don't enroll with. I was again relating to what Anjana was saying about religion and spirituality and how people or the agents of religion have actually wielded it for their personal benefits or goods or bads or whatever. So, जैसे I work in an organization currently, which is a Muslim organization. And my coworker, whom I have recruited a few months back, long ago, I was working with her, and I know her, and through her, I came to know about the religion more. So, दो चीजें उनका मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा था. One is at least 10% of your earning you need to donate. And the next was care and compassion. उन्होंने बोला था कि आपको पता है ये जो मल्टीपल शादी होती है, it is not because it is prescribed in our Quran. It is actually ऐसा कहा गया था that if you meet a vulnerable person, जिनका अगर उनको shelter नहीं दिया गया तो life will be bad for her, ऐसे लोगों को आप support करो through marriage. But now people are using this as a tool. So as Anjana said, the way we are interpreting is very different.
Sure.
That's all.
Thank you. Very beautiful for sharing. Very beautiful, Suresh. And now we are almost coming to the end of this session. And the last thing I would like to share with you is this musical instrument, which has got 4 strings. And what will happen if one of these strings is not tuned well? What will be the quality of music?
It's like a donkey brain.
Yeah, right. Now, what are these 4 strings in the context of our discussion today? Physical health,
Uh,
mental health, mental capacity, then what was it?
Emotional and spiritual.
Emotional and spiritual, right? These are the 4 dimensions of our life which need to be in balance to create good music in our life. And if you notice, this is all quadrant 2. So if you go back and look at quadrant 2, this is what quadrant 2 is all about. And I'll pause here and I'll let you reflect on what we have discussed in the session today for 3 odd minutes. And then I'll invite each one of you to share your takeaways from the session today. This is 9:27. Take 3 minutes to reflect on your takeaways from the session today. And then we'll take 2 minutes to recap. And while you're thinking, I would like to share that our next session is at 9 a.m. on Sunday, 22nd. And that's the last session that we're going to have in this series. If anyone is ready, you can start. Yes, Sanjana, you want to go first? Sudeshna, who wants to go first?
Yeah. I can.
Okay, sure.
Yes. So this whole thing, one thing which gets reiterated is you can't live life inside in a silo. And what worked for you yesterday, not necessarily the same thing will work for you today, or not today, so let's say tomorrow, in the same fashion. To draw an analogy of a car, right? It will still move. So when you buy the latest model in a particular year, it's the fastest you go on the road, most efficient, running absolutely smooth, it's tuned. But if you look at it 5 years down the line, there are newer models which come in. It's not that this car doesn't move anymore, right? It'll still get you from A to B. If you want the same comfort level, there is regular maintenance required. So you need that regular input and maintenance. So there it could be different ways, but as an individual, we're talking about the mind, the body, the spiritual aspect, and the skills. There are 4 things, which is similar to, which is required to run your life. And each of these have their own nuances. Like you said, tough love, okay, is a particular component which you need at a particular time. Like it's like you go in the first gear, second gear, third gear, or fourth gear, or you apply a brake. So there are different nuances. You can't do without any of them. You need them, but you need to use them at the right space. So the skill of a driver is to understand what to use when. So that's the skill that we need to build.
Very beautiful.
And the upgrades that we do to ourselves, like today, and I was just thinking of this, and then suddenly, like, you're looking at, entire workforce, which is for them, speaking to you and typing a message is no brainer. Because that's what they grow up doing, right? They don't, but you ask them to write a page, you can write 10 and they're still struggling to do, just form those alphabets. The concept of, so the skill sets are different.
Yeah.
So it's only at a particular time that you can impress them with your skill set when they realize that they can't write and you can write better. But till such time, they're like heroes, like I can type faster than you. So somewhere you have to figure out what you can do to, go in pace with them or manage their pace. You can't slow them down because if you slow them down, you slow yourself down also in the process. So the same thing is for learning. So this is what I understood from this, and then suddenly, it's this entire analogy that is there.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Sudeshna?
So when you asked us to do this calculation, so the number was quite flattering. Never thought that I am worth this much.
You worth more than that also.
और ये भी लगा कि so many years, I mean, the prime has been lost because this clarity wasn't there. So जो opportunity मेरे को दिख रहा है, because I was earlier working in a shelter home, and still now I connect with the children in different roles. So this is the opportunity which I can see, that उन बच्चों को अगर यही perception अभी से दे दिया जाए, then the golden Buddha will not be covered with mud. So very nice things we learned today. I had actually forgotten कि आज हमारा session है. So I was masti se ghar pe, and suddenly she calls up and says that join ho gaya hai, 5 minute bhi chala gaya. So I would have missed it had she not called me. So thank you so much for this support structure.
Thank you, Suresh. Huh? Yes, Ashish.
It was a good session.
Thank you. And what have been your takeaways?
मुझे सिर्फ ये थोड़ा पूछना था, मतलब लास्ट मीटिंग में आई वाजंट देयर, सो आशीष जी को, आशीष गोयल जी को, that all is, I hope all is well at his end and he is back from Chandigarh ऐसा लग रहा है मुझे. So whatever you are dealing with, I hope you are at peace or you are handling it very powerfully. I just wanted to
I'm in Punjab only.
just
Thanks for asking, first of all. So nice of you. I'm still in Punjab.
अच्छा,
I'm doing my bit daily. I'm on a mission. So I'm going to court, sometime to police station, sometime to put office, managing father, managing household, managing maid, clothes, fooding, everything alone, and that too without conveyance.
और पापा का हेल्थ कैसा है, क्योंकि ठंड तो बहुत है वहाँ.
So what I've planned ki on Christmas Day I will be back, or sometime maybe 2 weeks or so, because from 25th to 1st यहाँ पंजाब में सब holidays ही हैं, and कुछ progress नहीं हुआ है last week में भी ज़्यादा, क्योंकि 21st को यहाँ elections हैं पंजाब में, municipal elections. So entire police force and judiciary, everything is busy in conducting the elections. So things have slowed down. So it may take its sweet time. And in January maybe first second week में थोड़ा winter peak होने वाला है. Fog will start and temperature has dropped down to 6 degree, 5 degrees. So father के लिए थोड़ा tough है. So what I plan कि I will wind up my office also to manage everything. And thanks for asking. I am working hard to make the things right, and hopefully something will come.
Excellent.
Thank you.
All the best to you.
Yeah. Thank you. Venkateshwar, anything you would like to share? Venkateshwar, are you there? Venkateshwar, maybe you can switch off your camera
Yes,
and
sir.
then speak. Yeah.
Overall, a very good session, sir. It clearly shows you have to develop all the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, all the 4 dimensions. Especially that racehorse comparison is very good, sir. When you see the horse, you can remember our what the condition our body is there. We have a lot of stray horses in Coimbatore, sir. Daily we'll be seeing 10 horses in the roads, stray horses. And next is that emotional bank account. That is a very good takeout today. And according to that, if you develop that emotional bank account, our relationship will be improved a lot.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your active participation and sharing. Our next session will be at 9 a.m. Last session at 9 a.m. on Sunday, which is 22nd. Please log in by 8:45. And then, yeah. Happy New Year.
Ashish ji,
Merry Christmas. Yes.
Thank
I
you.
have one small question on this emotional bank account. It's a wonderful philosophy. Like you share everywhere the pointers. What are the pointers for emotional bank account? Like you've named a few, but if you can share it in a slide form, it will be really great.
Okay. अगर मैंने संडे से पहले नहीं किया ना, तो आप ग्रुप में ही रिमाइंडर डाल दीजिएगा आशीष से, ना?
These 10 points are these 10 points are plus, these 10 are negative. So we will keep in mind. So it will get even embossed in our mind next time.
Sunday session में हम cover कर लेंगे इसको.
Right.
So,
Thank you.
Ashish, I'll give you a quick tip for that. Okay. Whatever brings a smile to your face, that is a plus. Agar you are doing that same job, whatever that act was being done to you, if it brings a smile to your face, please put it on the plus side. If you get upset with it, it's on the minus side.
That I understand. But see, some of the things we intentionally tend to forget. So I just mentioned about the pointer, like this Ashish ji always shares a slide, very nice slide, mentioning a lot of things. But this time, so it will be helpful. I just shared that.
Will do. I'll
Otherwise,
do.
the idea is understood.
Sure, sure. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good night and see you on Sunday morning.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
And just
Good
one
night,
thing I want
good
to tell Sudeshna, I love her enthusiasm. You know, it's such a vibrant voice with, like, so much of passion. And I understand, because to do what you're doing, if you don't have that passion, it doesn't work.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Keep with it.
Yeah.
I hope you never ever lose it.
Yeah. She won't. All right. Good night on that
Okay.
happy note.
Good night.
Yeah.
Good night. Good night.
Good night.